And here we are back again, Casual Crafter and me, for part 3 in the series. You can see I've subtitled myself as Unskilled Customizer. Right before we went live, I'm saying to Crafter, one of my goals here today is to make light and laugh at my missteps as he's trying to advance me in customizing. Crafter, welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me, Chris. You know what? I saw your finished product. That's really pretty good. I mean, considering this is your first one ever, I wish I would have done that video with the Invisible Man before we would have tried that first, just to kind of get things, kind of like that confidence up or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if you wanted to show it, but I think you did a pretty good job.
If you started me on more of a kiddie slope, I might have been able to navigate the hill better. But all right, let's go to comments first, and then let's jump in. So Chai Star, no surprise, is dropping us. Let's go. No surprise at Fanboy Cantina. As you'll see, the Fanboy Cantina t-shirt floating right over my head with an awoo. And you can't do a Wolfman-based episode without quoting the classic, I saw a werewolf drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's, and his hair was perfect. Does Warren Zevon get much airplay in your local radio stations, Crafter?
No, I don't listen to the radio. If I do, it's usually talk news. And I'm not in my car very much anymore now that I'm retired. I have a side job in the mornings where I go and not volunteer, but I work at a school and I teach a couple of classes and then I come home. So I'm not in my car a lot like I used to be. I used to have a job where I'd be driving out to all these houses because I was a homebound teacher. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and you have to drive to all parts of the district, and go meet with kids. And that was a fun job, and I was always listening to the radio. But not so much anymore.
Well, seeing as how we're just in the dawn of March here, March 2, 2025 is our recording date. And we said about throwing a little curveball and a little surprise. So before we dig into our main content, which is looking at how Crafter completed his Wolfman and was trying to bring me along in customizing a Wolfman, and then look at Crafter's other greatest hits of his recent customizations of monster characters. First, I want to, given that we're in Women's History Month, and I was looking around on Reddit, here's a customizer that I did not previously know of. I didn't tell Crafter a word about this until right now, so his quizzical look right now is not rehearsed. But we know Creature of the Black Lagoon is in good standing around here, as evidenced by the Nicole Huff photos of the creature. So there I am on Etsy, and there's Creature in Crafter's hand. So username on the Reddit is Halloween Herbivore. So this is a Barbie customizer who put together a Millicent Patrick Barbie. Now, Crafter, sometimes you're good at digging up items and resources. Do you have any idea where this bust of the creature came from that is being held by the Barbie Millicent Patrick here?
That's an excellent idea. Look at that. That's just a really cool looking figure, I've been online and especially on eBay, there's a lot of different sources for 1/6 scale dolls. That head looks unique too. Go back to that head real quick. That doesn't look like a standard Barbie head, does it?
Again, did this person kind of drop this person doesn't hang out a lot in the comment section on Reddit. It's more like, here's my current customs and take a look. But yeah, look, this is a cleaner shot of the face. That's not a standard Barbie face. So there again, more questions than answers, but this is a good mystery to participate in. We're in Women's History Month. I wanted to open up with recognizing some customizing work on the lady side of things.
So first of all, that head, it's probably not a resin head because it looks like they've actually sewn the hair into the sculpt. So it's probably some sort of vinyl head. So they found a head that they kind of stripped, pulled the hair out, maybe repainted, that they could use for Millicent in this case. As far as the bust goes, that's probably taken from one of the sources online where you can get STL files. And that's what I do with a lot of my stuff too, is I'll go to an STL file and I'll remove the part that I don't want, which is usually the body. In the case of this one right here, where I just take off what I need, like the head. And in that case, I probably wanted the bust. It could have been a whole bust, because there are STL files that have busts of creatures or Dracula or Frankenstein. So Yeah, that's probably where that came from. The head, that took some research, to find, a vinyl head that would work for that would look like her, So in the costuming, everything's great.
And the box, the packaging. This is some. Again, this is a person I have never conversed with, but hey, is it cool if I show this on YouTube? And they came back and said yes, but this is some advanced level customizing here. I see we got another comment has come in, and then we got a Jspy.
Hey, Jspy, I got a bunch of stuff here.
Coming up soon, we're going to look at Jspy's lab work in context of the rest of the stuff, but let's get started. So Crafter, this was a tough go for me to try to come around for the Wolfman. Do you want to show your Wolfman, and then we'll speak on
I'm going to see yours, but hang on.
All right. Then here. Let me switch us back. Then the guest will call shots here a bit, right? So I here. So now I'm doing actually something, taking the painter's tape off of him, and we'll get his shirt on him in a minute. I appreciated Jspy's additional consult into your steering me around through this, Crafter, about getting the Krylon spray to kind of seal on his face. And Jspy gave me a good, let me get real close. So it's a werewolf who's seeing a ghost. I know the eyes are the most intimidating, fearful part of the whole thing. As we've said with Fanboy G plenty of times, if the eyes don't go right, the character doesn't look right. I suppose I could have drafted and redrafted and continued to draft, but I just had to pull the plug. And so now we got werewolf who looks like he's seen a ghost. Chystar is saying it looks good.
I think it looks good too.
Saying it's angry. I'll take it for what it's worth. It doesn't look terrible, but it was a rough learning curve for me, to be sure.
Okay, pull it back up again. Let's take a look at what you got.
That's the other thing. So the head swivel, there's a lot of head swivel in there, but let me get him right.
Tightening the top part of the body. There's those 2 screws in the shoulder. I can see a little gap there.
Well, see, Craig, that's the other thing. Let me see. So previously on Mr. C Dives In, we were taking the more of the advanced body types, and I stripped the screws. So stripping the screws, error number 1, as far as that part of thing goes. Let me bring you back in the screen here, pal. So we're
hold on. Let me hide my guy.
Yeah. So then I order the replacement body, but I'm not paying good attention when I order the replacement body. So I get the lesser costly one, but the one that doesn't have the screws in the back the same way. So then I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Because I was previously, all right, Jspy, fanboys, happy to see Jspy is saying good color selections. It's great to have the guys around in the comment section. So
Jspy in here. I don't know if he's busy. He should be joining us.
Well, I should have had the link ready to go. I didn't want to overextend Johnny's time, but we'll make it so sometime soon, as long as the schedules are good. So again, there's a lot of heads. So what did I do then? Because once you have the paint on the head, you can't do the dip in the hot water trick. So then what I did was I boiled hot water, and I put it into a small metal container that we don't use for drinking and stuff, because I don't really know about contaminants or what have you or what. So then I dipped the body into the hot water.
That's what you do.
But all the other things I had seen, the person dips the head into the thing. So I took the clamp just like there, and I'm holding the body into the hot water, which then made it flexible enough to cap the head into the body.
That's exactly what I would have done, or I would have gotten my heat gun and heated it and kind of like pushed it in that way. I also have a rasper that makes the hole a little bit bigger. But
yes, and I've seen you do that before, but I didn't feel I was anywhere near advanced enough to try that as a technique. I thought I would have shattered it to bits if I had tried to go on that way with it.
Yeah, that plug is for S-type bodies. If you wanted something that for like a plastic Mego that's a little softer, it would be like more of a cup type of thing. But yeah, it looks great. You know what? I like the eyes, but if you didn't want to have the eyes so big, all you would need to do is just grab some of that flesh color paint that you made and do a horizontal line across the top of the eye, like to narrow the lid. Because it looks like everything's centered. It looks like everything's good. If you just wanted to like put a little line across the lid on the top, you'd be fine. If you didn't want to have the ghost eyes. But put it back up again. look at the hair. The hair looks great. The nose is perfect. The
Well,
teeth are great. The
woo, his hair was perfect.
yeah. Look at that. That's a fabulous job for your first custom. That's fabulous.
All right,
Yeah,
J-Spy's being kind and saying I had awesome technique. Chai Star saying, do you have to mix your own color? So there was a little bit of color mixing. I'll say people who wanted the full story on that can look at episode 1 or 2, but we were on the apple barrel. So the hair, the fur was the burnt umber, and then the Tuscan red was involved, as well as the nutmeg brown and the well, black we used for the snout or the nose, and then the chestnut. I picked up the khaki. I don't think khaki came into play very much, but also the where am I at? The nutmeg brown. So we did do a good bit of mixing with the antique parchment. And Crafter, since you could speak on it better than me, could we just do a little recap there on what was involved in the mixing? We used the antique parchment, and which other color?
I think we used the antique parchment, and we used some of that beige with the Tuscan to give it a little bit of a reddish skin tone. But yeah, there was just minimal mixing. And tell everybody how much those paints cost. Like one of those apple barrel paints, how much are they?
Well, so Walmart, they're like 58 cents per container. And then in Joann's, and now all the Joann's are closing, but I did find one at Joann's while Joann's is still open for maybe double the price. It may be $1.20 with tax.
So getting into customizing and just having some basic colors is not going to break the bank, right?
Right. So Chai Star saying, did we paint to apply? Yeah. So I used the Krylon spray, and let me switch out of comments into the pictures again so I can show. So here is the exact Krylon. And again, I appreciate J-Spy for texting with me and saying that Krylon would be good to go in that time. And just here's the along the way. Again, the one body that I destroyed because I was trying to go too fast. So then I switched to the other body. Then I had to figure out the stuff. And here's before I went for the center of the eyes. Again, I was trying to use the actual Mego Wolfman in the background there for and this was an earlier draft. I touched up the head a little bit more from this to make it darker, because on the Megos, if you can see them here, right, they do have some streaks of different colors. So I was trying to see if I could make that look decent also, but I felt that was also outside of my grasp. And again, credit to you, Crafter, for doing the wash, which gives the greater degree of detail in the facial structures or whichever the body part structures are. I felt that is currently also outside of what I'm able to
do.
You
did it though, but you did it. Go back to that picture that shows the Mego in the background.
Sure enough.
Now, if you were to show yours as a finished piece and compare it to those Mego pieces, with the exception of the eyes, everything else on yours is much better. I mean, you have that definition between the skin and the fur, spot on, right?
You're going to get us in trouble with our Crafter, but sure.
But see what I'm saying? Look at that. That looks really muddy, and yours looks really defined. I think yours is really, really good.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. All right. Well, let's get yours on the screen already. We're looking at you're not there. You got your Frankenstein holding up half the screen, pal. Let's get your Wolfman over here.
Let me see if I can get him.
Meanwhile, I'm going to put the shirt on this guy, and then in a minute, we'll do the flip screen, and then we'll get J-Spy's lab stuff up here in a couple of seconds as well.
I got my haunted house as well. But the reason I put these guys together, I have that House of Dracula. I think I have them here. The Carradine.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it'd be nice to have, the Wolfman and, that Glenn Strange Frankenstein, right? But I think really the impetus was these two figures right here. I don't know if you can see them. Might have to move some stuff, and it looks like I'm washed out here. Let me take the light down a bit. That's really why I've been doing these monsters like this, because I'd like to do Abbott and Costello meet, the Invisible Man, the Wolfman, or it was that Frankenstein, right? Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, where they had the Wolfman, Dracula, right, and Glenn Strange, Frankenstein.
You're speaking the truth, sir. Arguably the top horror comedy of all time. That's exactly where we're at.
So that was kind of like the impetus for that. And I think Jspy and I were planning to at least paint one of these together. That's why I haven't painted them, because I've been waiting for Jspy and Scott to see if they still wanted to paint them.
Well, Jspy is a busy dude, and that's all right. He's got to take care of all his points.
Yeah, you know what? I'm having fun with the monsters. I still have to do Dracula. I did get the Invisible Man done.
Yeah, so this is your most recent video, is you did Invisible Man. And it was just yesterday that you put that one out.
Yeah.
And you want to show people the glasses and hair removable feature?
You know, this is a really cool gimmick, I guess. Here, let me turn down my light is just like a little too bright.
Yeah, you can't see. We can't see. There you go.
Is that better?
That's perfect. That really shows the detail of it.
Okay, so that's the mask, and you can see the inside of his head is hollow, which I thought was really cool. And then the mask. Oh, I'm laughing to death. Okay, you know what? I kind of got ahead of myself with the Glenn Strange Frankenstein. I printed the head and I just went to town, and I was like really excited to do it because I think it came out really well. Like, here's the head, right? This is going to Chris. I'm going to send this to him so he can do it, right? But if you want, I'm laughing to death. I might post the information on how I made that head. Do you have access to a printer? I mean, because if you have a resin printer, you know, the world is open to you. You can just do all sorts of customs. So anyway, back to the Invisible Man. This is probably the one that we probably should have started with, because if you saw the video, all you needed to do was get that antique white and kind of like paint it inside and out, and then use that wash. And we could make a wash like we did with the Wolfman. We made that brown wash. You just make a light brown wash and you can put it in there, and it'll kind of like define those bandages a little bit better. But yeah, I think we should have probably started with this one, Chris. I think you did a great job on the Wolfman.
Know how inept I was yet, pal. You just didn't know the depth of my lack of skill, but now we've pinpointed the depth and identified it.
Actually, no. I think you got some skill. I think you got some customizing genes in you. You might want to talk to your mom and see if she was a customizer.
So while we got Invisible Man there, and again, I do want to get to Jspy stuff real quick. So here's and Crafter pointed out I switched their outfits. So typically the Al Bundy translucent Invisible Man comes in the suit, and then the duck style or the goggle style Invisible Man comes in his robe. So there's just that's a pretty good assembly, or you know, there's the official Invisible Man style. Here's the customized Invisible Man items. So good all around. Do you have more to say on Invisible Man, Crafter, or can you bring Lon Chaney himself into the view?
Which one did you want to see?
You got Lon Chaney right next to Wolfman, right? But he's a little bit off camera right now.
Actually, you mean Talbot?
Well,
is this the one you want to see?
Who plays Larry Talbot, my friend? Lon Chaney Jr.
Yeah,
so we'll call him by his character name, Larry Talbot.
That's why I was a little confused. I was like, which one did you want to see? But yeah, there he is. And I got Jspy's cane here. I don't know if you have this cane, don't you?
I do. I don't have it where I can grab it right now. But again, let's look at the detailed work from Jspy on the wolf head cane. It is amazing stuff. Now, do you have the same? Do you have the same shirts on? It looks like the same shirt on.
Yeah, I tried to get the same outfit going as the Wolfman. But he also puts these little notches in there. Can you see that notch? And it makes
yeah. And in the books, in so many of the items that Jspy does, he makes it so the actual character, the figure, can hold the item. Junkyard is joining in to say the cane is amazing. Well, hey, Jspy doesn't do anything less, my friend. Jspy doesn't do anything less than amazing. So you got Rogues Gallery here. Oh, so perfect. Same pants and everything. So that's a perfect contrast from human form versus transformed form.
Except I lost my belt somewhere along the way.
But don't you think in the process of turning it into a wolf that you're going to cut loose on the belt?
But maybe, I guess. But his shirt would be torn too. And that's just the thing. In the movies, he didn't really have the torn clothing, did he?
Not so much.
Yeah, it was just
In
like
fact, he went from t-shirt to full shirt. Right, he's sitting in his room wearing the t-shirt and the pants, and then when he's out on the prowl, he's got a full shirt on. But hey, it was the 40s, and I'm not trying to pick at them or say that's a negative. That's the way the movie was made. That's the classic movie that we have, and that's the classic movie that I appreciate.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, it might have been cold, and they had to get him some, something to keep him warm.
Yeah, cold over at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just come into the share screen and knock down the Figures Toy Company stuff, and then I absolutely want to get to Jspy as soon as I get this cooking here. Hang on now, I got the okay, present.
What kind of mischief are you into? What's going on?
I'm coming to the share screen. Now, this is what I did tell you we were going to do. We're coming to the Classic TV Toys website so we can see, and versus I can navigate. So now I jumped around too much. All right, well, anyway, the shirt that I got, the plaid shirt from Wolfman, was right in here off Classic TV Toys menu. But obviously they got there it is. There's the plaid shirt that I got for him, and the pants were just slightly right here, the gray suit pants. So a lot of good stuff available from Classic TV Toys towards customizing. And then I kind of already showed the bodies enough. So that's all. Well, what do you got going here, pal? You got a.
I was going to show you my play set. Hang on, let me see if I can.
All right, let's see the play set, and then I'm getting Jspy stuff up for you doing that.
Let me see if I can get this going. You've never seen my play set?
I think I'd remember seeing the play set if I saw it, Crafter. Let me give you the whole screen for yourself there.
Yeah, you can see
you got all the Jspy stuff packed into there.
Let me go back to opening real quick.
Right.
So here I have a backdrop with a full moon, so I can put my Wolfman there. Actually, I'm going to put Larry Talbot there. You know, he's taking a stroll, right? And the moon is rising. And then I don't have my mummy with me. Oh, I do have my Ardeth Bay. So here I've got a scene with I guess the interior of an Egyptian tomb, and I got my Ardeth Bay. Usually I use that NECA sarcophagus. And then in here, I've got my lab. And you can see I got a huge mess over here. I got Jspy's hat rack.
Oh, that's one I don't have, but that's good to see it.
I've got that, I don't know what this is called. Let me see if it still works. I haven't turned this on in a while. But a lot of his stuff, I think most of it lights up, right?
Yeah. And can you do the demo, that lever that goes horizontally there? Can you show people how it actually raises up and moves around?
Once you lower it, that summons the monster, and he comes out. I'm kidding. I mean, yeah, it's a cool little lever. He's got a little twist here and stuff. It's a really neat piece. So I got that. Let me see what else I have in here. Get my Frankenstein out of the way. And then this piece right here, but it broke, but it worked out well because guess what? I can put it in my box now.
Yeah, and it's easy to slide it back in its place.
Yeah, that just slaps on top right there, and it has this really cool transformer. Yeah, because I'm not gentle with my stuff, and I just kind of cram it in here. Let's see if the battery's, nope, the battery's dead on this. The battery's dead on this. But I got these two pieces. Yeah, I went to town on the set. That's how I met Jspy. A couple of his pieces were discontinued, and I sent him a message on eBay and just said, hey, do you still have that piece available? He goes, no, but I have a prototype. And he goes, if you want to buy that, you can. So I was like, oh, absolutely, right? And there's the examination table. Let's see what else I got in here. Oh, I got the legs for my table. he put together this really cool lab table kit that had table and chairs. Let me see if I can get that going. And it had a map with a little dagger you could stick in the table. Do you have that one?
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Crafter, while you're coming to that, let me switch over. You go ahead and take a few seconds to set that up, or take as much time as you need
Oh, no, I'm
to
just
set
looking
that
at it.
up. So right now on mine, I got the skeleton figure, but then I came to realize if I wanted to replicate Wolfman versus Frankenstein, or Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, then right, the doctor has both Lon Chaney in his role as Larry Talbot on one of the tables, and then you got your Frankenstein's monster on the other table. So J-Spy, if you're still in there, if I'm going to make a movie accurate thing, I'm going to need another table from you. But if it's a discontinued item, then I'll just live with it. But the other stuff I want to show, and again, while crafters, so LaserMego, Paul from LaserMego, we had him back on in 2023. So I can't believe already the passage of time that it's that we're in early in 2025 right now. But going back to late in 2023 when we had our pal Paul on from LaserMego, and so when you order from him, he'll send you a bunch of extra swag stuff to go with the order. But I wanted to, again, well, let's start with the bar stool and then the actual bar. So this is more based off the Cheers figures, which didn't really sell all that well. But I'm saying the craft work here, again, if we had access to Paul, again, the ridges he has in the wood legs on the stools, well, it's not actual wood, but in the simulated wood, just how did he set the details on it? I mean, I'm as always impressed by the details of things, but then the rung, the footrest on the bar stool, and then how solidly the top of the bar stool is attached here. Custom God is coming in to say Paul is a great guy, and
Yeah.
I'm here to agree with Custom God. And now, so the main item what I ordered, again, looking at the degree of detail here, now you're going to see the reflection on the item and into the screen also. But again, so he designed this with the Cheers characters in mind, but I'm saying for a monster bar hangout, in combination with J-Spy stuff. So there's the two pieces. Now I'm holding them in a funny way here, but the left and right. So anyway, you can configure them. And let me try to pull. Getting ahead of myself. You can configure them this way, or you can have the bar run along this way. Again, it's very shiny. It's very reflective, and again, as the other pieces, a great degree of detail. So I will be doing some photo playing around and putting together, highlighting J-Spy's lab work and Paul's bar in there. Okay, now that I bought Crafter time, let me give Crafter back the full screen. What are we looking at?
Oh, that was just my Dr. Frankenstein. I did that on a live stream with J-Spy and Scott, and that was a lot of fun. J-Spy had one. I think it made it to the Custom Ego magazine too, if I'm remembering correctly. He posted it on the Custom Ego page. Got a lot of response on it. It looked really good. Yeah, but that's my J-Spy collection that goes in my little haunted house. I've got some other pieces too, but I don't know. It's a little knickknacks that I have that I usually put in like little containers, and I have a container somewhere, but it's full of junk. I don't want to go get it.
Speaking of junk, Junkyard is saying that would be an awesome pick. So yeah, Junkyard, I've been playing around trying to get the lighting and the staging of it right. Again, I'm a novice at this, but let's take this opportunity to switch around to the pictures that Crafter sent over. Again, let me jump over the Millicent Patrick photos. And so here I got
there you go.
I'm playing around with the Nighthawks photo. And again, this is trying to get the backdrop right and have in the actual photo that's in the Art Institute of Chicago, it's a more yellowish backdrop wall. So I was buying different stuff to generate that. So here's the same Colin Clive, Dr. Frankenstein that you just showed us. I converted them by filter to black. And so this is just my recurring theme. It looks cool in color, looks cool in black and white. And how awesome does J-Spy's lit up lab equipment look in black and white? That's an extra good thing there. Again, you totally nailed it, Crafter, on getting this Ardeth Bay. It's the Q from Star Trek. on the red and black suit that he's got there. But again, your ability to utilize the wash and the lighting to get the degree of details in the nose and the cheekbones around the mouth there. Good stuff to have. I see a comments coming. I'll come back. And now this one, Crafter, I think you went more whimsical in here. Is I don't know Nosferatu to be carving jack-o'-lanterns.
He was. That day he was doing it. He was working on jack-o'-lantern. That's
we put him on the right day.
That's not one of my customs. That's a Mego piece, but I love that figure. That thing is just so cool.
Junkyard saying Young Frankenstein, and yeah, those guys are out of reach, but I do have the I do have a couple of the Young Frankenstein figures, not all of them right here, but again, in light of Gene Hackman's recent passing, I'm pretty sure there is not, or at least there's not an official Mego of Gene Hackman. I don't imagine there is a custom one, but taking the more obscure characters out of Young Frankenstein with the he's probably billed as the blind man, but again, rest in peace, Gene Hackman, but a great contributor to Young Frankenstein. All right, Crafter, we got one of the creatures. So this is the darker creature. This is the second of the creatures released. If I'm getting it right, the third of them was the silver screen or the black and white. So where did you get the boat and the seaweed or sea plant elements?
I did a video a while back. I like those Scooby-Doo villains. I don't know if you've seen any of those videos, but there was a Captain Cutler that I did, and I thought it'd be cool to have this like little sunken boat, but it works really well for, the creature too. I've been printing a lot of stuff since I got that printer, and I'm just having a lot of fun putting stuff together. I mean, the quality is not really all that great, but for what I do, I think it's okay. Thanks, Jspy, but you know what? Jspy must spend some money on his printers because he's got some fine detail. And I don't know if you, let me show you. This is just crazy. It would take me forever to do something like this, where you have all those different colors and plaques that you have to put together, because each piece has to be printed out separately and then assembled. Look at that. Just on that alone, right there.
Right, as long as you got it right there, Crafter. Bring him back, Crafter. Bring him back. Let's give Jspy his full. But so all those switches right there are movable. I'm not saying you have to move each of them, but then the upper layer there, those two larger switches are also movable. And then in the lower area of the potentiator, also it's there you go. The dial switches back and forth. So credit to Jspy for coming up with it and being able to do it.
But each one of those pieces has to be printed out separately and then glued on. It's crazy. That's way beyond anything I even want to attempt. So like this right here is just a solid piece.
Oh, it's all one piece together. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you do the 360 so we can see the point or the front of the boat or the bow? Oh man, I like it.
Basically, what this was, there's a little game. It's kind of obscure, but it's called Dungeons and Dragons. Have you heard of that?
Maybe once or twice.
Not a lot of people have, but there's a lot of stuff out there like terrain pieces that this thing is supposed to be 35 millimeter in scale, which means it's supposed to be about like that big, but a lot of this stuff you can blow up, and I don't have any idea how. Well, I guess I could print different sections and stuff, but it's just too much work for me. It's easier for me to paint. See, so I just get together and I just paint some of these things on there, because that's what I would do if I were playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'd be painting these pieces, by hand.
Yeah.
But all right, I got this together for you because I know you're a huge fan of the creature.
That I am. But today was Wolfman was our highlighted guy, so I've got my Wolfman Geeky Tiki. Another day I'll be drinking out of the creature Geeky Tiki. We're about good here, showing what we had to show. If there are any other questions from the comments section before we wrap up, now would be a good time to drop in your questions while I'm buying room for that. Let me just come back around now that I put the shirt on I know I'm in the small screen here.
Wow. Hey, let me see that.
After we're talking about the shirt's a pretty good fit for him. It looks very very plaid flannelly, from any era, 70s or not that the character is from the 70s, but it's just there he is fully.
That's actually a new edition from Classic TV Toys. It just came out I think it was last summer. I was going to get one. I wanted to do an outfit for. Did you ever see that episode, City on the Edge of Tomorrow from Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to do Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock in like those clothes. I got a beanie for Mr. Spock, and I was going to get that flannel shirt, but I couldn't find the head for what was her name, Edie, the
Right. That would
Joan
probably be
Collins character. What was her name? Was it Edie?
I guess I think
I
so.
don't
I'm not
remember.
there. I just what I do remember about it is if I'm remembering right, is that's DeForest Kelly, aka Bones. That's his favorite episode of the whole series. But yeah, I good stuff to chase into.
Yeah, so
All
I
right, so
thought about doing that, but I couldn't find the head for the Joan Collins character, so I scrapped it.
yeah. All right. Well, again, Crafter, I came around to make good and a laugh, because if you can't laugh at yourself, well, then what's going on in your
There's
life?
nothing to laugh at, Chris. I mean, that's a good custom. You should be proud of yourself. I'll send you that
I'll
head so that you can work on it, and
maybe
we'll
I'll
have a
get
big
there.
reveal.
Maybe I'll get there. But part of the process was being able to make light of my missteps along the way. So this has been good. Next week coming up, and then Crafter, get any plugs ready that you have to plug. Next week I'll be having my annual Sven Gulli birthday tribute with the cast of Sven fans to talk about the good times that come from horror host son of Sven Gulli converted to Sven Gulli for Rich Koza's actual birthday on March 12th. So I'll have that coming soon. I've been reading since I saw the lady from the Black Lagoon. Some people are not on board with this book, but hey, what are you going to do? You can't please all the people all the time. I'm about halfway through with it, and I'm enjoying the backstory on how the creature of the Black Lagoon suit was designed. So those are my parting comments. Crafter, what do you got coming up, coming around on your channel?
I don't know. It just kind of like goes as it goes. I go through my box and say, what do I want to put together? I'm thinking maybe Escape from New York.
Oh, that's a good subject area.
So
I know there's new Mego releases. I should, before we close out, say that MIB just dropped his Atlas Comics episode.
I saw that.
And so there's that for people to go watch. I know the Toy Fair people are starting to release pictures of the new Megos, including Neo from the Matrix is getting a soon to be issued release from Mego. So that's pretty good. Live and learn when you craft. Absolutely. Fanboy, did you confirm? Should we plug? Are you going live in a little bit here? Fanboy, did you decide one way or the other on are you doing a show today? If you are, let's plug that, and then we can close out. Crafter, I'm glad you stayed on me. Again, I cannot say that it was fun. I cannot say that I enjoyed the process, but I can say it was a valuable learning experience. Okay, so people who are interested in an Oscars pregame in just a short amount of time here, tune in to Fanboy Cantina for Fanboy G's Oscar pregame preview breakdown kind of a show. Crafter, it's been good. Let me thank everybody who came through. So Jspy, awesome to have you around. Custom God, appreciate you in the comments. And I'm laughing to death. Great to have you around. And to the regular usual suspects of Chystar G, Jim Campbell, Junkyard, and Fanboy G, thanks for coming around. I'm closing us out. Crafter, thanks for coming by. We'll be back again soon, and we are out.